We're going to talk about a new movie about the famous DeLorean car maker that was used in Back to the Future. Also, there's a new Wizard of Oz TV show that's in the works, and we have about 10 other stories that we're going to cover, so don't turn that dial.
All systems are functional.
If there's anything that people love, it is a good disaster story. Well, as long as nobody gets hurt, right? Well, enter Framing John Delorean. It's a documentary movie about the creator of one of the most iconic cars of all times, thanks to a little franchise called Back to the Future. And whether you loved or hated it, the DeLorean is one of the most recognized cars ever. And the movie Framing John Delorean is the epic tale of a globe-trotting visionary that marries a supermodel. He builds the DeLorean car, but ultimately he ends up hitting rock bottom. John Delorean's car company was called the DeLorean Motor Company, and they only created one type of car. It was called the DeLorean, which we all know and love. And there were only 9,000 cars ever made, but today it is one of the most cherished collector's items. Now, Alec Baldwin is going to be playing the famous visionary in the documentary movie. And it's going to be in theaters and video on demand on June 7th, 2019. So just in case you guys want to check out the trailer, which looks pretty good by the way, I'll link to it down below. Then we all remember watching The Wizard of Oz as kids, but most don't know that it's actually based on a series of books written by L. Frank Baum. And now it's being developed into a TV series set in the land of Oz. The series is going to have stories and characters from the world of Oz that have never been previously explored. And since there's 14 books from the series, there is a ton of content which they can draw from. And over on the website Variety.com, they did have a description of what the series is going to be about. When the return of a long exiled witch brings fear, division, and war to Oz, the only hope is a servant girl who may become the most powerful and dangerous woman in the land. From what I'm seeing, this show looks pretty promising, but I hope it's going to be better than Emerald City. And then next up, there is a live tribute show that is going on today, March 8th, at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood that is celebrating the famous sketch comedy TV show Laughin. And it ran from 1968 to 1973 on NBC. And to the young kids that might be watching, Laughin is basically a precursor to what Saturday Night Live is today. Also, it's being taped by Netflix and it should be showing up sometime on Netflix this year. I was actually too young to know Laughin when I was a kid, but I did see some of the episodes once I got older. And this is the place where stars like Goldie Hawn and Lily Tomlin actually got their start. So if you ever love the show or if you want to just learn a little bit more about it, be sure to keep an eye out for this show when it hits Netflix. Alright guys, so I actually have a ton of other news that I want to cover and I don't want you guys to miss out on it. So we're actually going to cover it right now in a retro flash. And first off, Stephen King's movie Cujo is getting a massive new Blu-ray release on April 15th that has over 7 hours of added footage. A trailer for the release just dropped, so I'll link to that down below. Then Neil Gaiman is producing a reboot of Jim Henson's The Storyteller series that was originally on TV in 1987. Also, the Mad About You revival is actually going to happen, and they're about to start production on the show. But the big news on this one is that you actually have to be a Charter Communications subscriber to watch it, and there's no word on when it's going to premiere. And for you Sandlot fans, the 90s movie The Sandlot is being rebooted as a TV show with the original cast members from the movie coming back for the show. The project is separate from the prequel Sandlot film that is being developed at 20th Century Fox. So the streaming service Shudder just dropped a trailer for its upcoming series Critters: A New Batch, which is based off the 80s and 90s films. If you love the Critters movies, this is something that you're probably really gonna like. It looks campy and cheap and it actually looks hella fun, just like the movies. Also, there is a new Scooby-Doo animated movie that's in the works and it's going to hit theaters next year. This one's going to actually have Captain Caveman in it, and he's going to be voiced by Tracy Morgan. Also, the new Twilight Zone series has a new trailer that came out, and there's a trailer out for a new biopic called Rocket Man that is about Elton John's life. Then Space Jam 2, the one that stars LeBron James, now has a release date of July 16th, 2021. I'll believe that one when I see it. And finally, it's with a heavy heart that I report that there is now only one Blockbuster left in the entire world. Yep, the one in Australia just announced that they're going to be closing their doors for good. Alright, so that was a ton of retro news, and I hope you guys were able to keep up. It's really not often that I get so much going on in a week that I can't cover it all. But I will link to all the stories down below, so if you guys want to read about anything that I did go into, but just in a little bit of detail, it'll be down there for you. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out our next video right over there. Alright, my fellow retro fans, I will catch you on the flip side, and remember, if it ain't retro, it ain't worth watching.